Good morning. Good morning, everybody. This is Engineer Suraj Singh speaking from Bharat, India on this day, October 6, 2021, Wednesday. My three continuous videos were broken. First at 4 minutes, second at 7 to 9 minutes, and third at 15 minutes. And this is fourth trial now. I see you have to try. Being an engineer, I have to try again and again. Airtel international body is not functioning properly. No care for signals, unfortunately. I don't know reason behind that. I have written many mails to them, but I think nobody cares. And that's why I'm very serious about quality. Airtel like company cannot care about quality, while quality and safety are two issues there I'm conferring with under title Civil Field Engineering or Field Engineering, Life, Quality, Engineers, AnnexSL, Safety and Designs, Construction Methods, whatsoever, Organizations, all that. And I refer to AnnexSL of the system, which after the certifications and was talking of leadership, etc. in this case. What is leadership? We explained. Everybody has different expression pertinent leadership. You must have same, I must have same, or maybe different. Everybody has different experiences or may have different experiences. Those who are your starting career, those who are too young, can call them budding engineers who are going to destinations long-term basis. But job is one point while learning is another point. Essentially it is job first, and before that education first. Heads in every company are leaders, and I would say even lowest category of persons in every country are also leaders. Leaders doesn't mean a position. Leaders means a responsibility. I don't consider that person who is having top leadership or bottom leadership. My question remains, are you responsible? Do you assume responsibility? If somebody doesn't assume responsibility, I don't care for that person. Particularly when you are well educated, you are professional, you have certain objective, you have entered yourself in the profession, nobody forced you to enter. Everybody likes some future. Somebody goes to engineering, somebody goes to medical science, somebody goes to management world, somebody goes to IT. Everybody has different approach. Of course, some people keep in mind money factor, what package I'll get if I do that. That's financial approach. Financial approach it may be, or it may be focused on standards, focused on your future, because finance never keep constant. Similarly, life does not keep constants. It keeps on changing, and world changes, everybody changes. So changes means it's the nature of world, it's nature of life, it's nature of society, and it's nature of everybody. You keep changing, and that changing is a part of engineering. Engineering is a change machine. Engineering is a change mechanism. In engineering you cannot keep same all over because of technology's development, because of various developments. But whatever changes do occur, this must be perfect. This must be better than before or worse than before, you can say. Sometimes it's worse also. We remember, oh, I was there in childhood, I enjoyed this, now that has gone. And that's where you can say many points come into our minds. Quality has no standard definition, in fact. It depends in time. Today, there are many quality aspects in every field, in every subject. There is some limit. We define ourselves. This is my limit. We want to keep this system on this project. We define this, we have to work within this range. And for that range, that becomes required quality system. It doesn't mean that required quality criteria should apply to other also or other projects also. No, that's not essential. Quality requirement is very vast. It's up to, we have to define according to our requirements, according to our budget, and according to what is best in that. For example, let us say there are 5 parts in a machine. I'm just saying there may be more, 5 or 10 parts. And we want that machine to work for 15 years or 10 years. This means all parts shall be within that limit, that these can work up to so many years. Only then we can say this machine is well integrated, all parts are equal in life. If they break, they will break all same time or in the same range, or they work together, they will work together for this period of 10 to 15 years. That's will we consider. But if it happens on one part shall work up to 25 years, another 2 years, what's strange? There's no integrity of, there's no correlation among those members of parts. So point is raised, means why do you keep some part for 20 years and one part for 2 years? That is loss of integration. How can this machine work smoothly? But because of many reasons, these are kept. Oh no, see, this part is for 20 years, but what's function in 2 years other part is going to break. This means there is no meaning of design. Your design is useless. Maybe you have those parts you're keeping in, but at least if that machine is meant for 10 years or 15 years, it must have those category of parts. What's happening in Europe? What's happening elsewhere in the world? They are burdened with pollution, plastic pollution. Everybody knows it, nothing new. I'm just referring to that news. All these gadgets, all these mobiles and all machines for fridge, etc., they throw in a couple of years and they buy new one. And it was considered a matter of pride. Say, I don't want to get it repaired, I want to throw it because there's no meaning of this machine to keep in. I buy another one. Repair is very expensive. Yes, repair is expensive, it's true. But what is more expensive is pollution control. Now billions of tons of plastic is available in rubbish form. There's no way to solve it. Which was better? Repair was better or this plastic dump is better? Which is better? If we could conduct repairs, we had some parts which could be repaired and reinstalled. Every part cannot be repaired, but a few parts can be repaired. Now eyes of Europe are open, eyes of world are open. Why to throw something in 2 years when it can be further retrofitted? If it can be retrofitted, why not to do that? We adopt technology. Okay. Or we produce parts for 10 years to 15 years for the mobile units, or likewise fridge, or where plastic is used. Why do you want to throw that in a couple of years only when it can be used further by repairs, by retrofitting? We have to take this point into consideration. So when eyes open, mind is open. We were sleeping, all Europe was sleeping, whole world had been sleeping, because Europe was sleeping, USA was, everybody had been sleeping. They were in mode of advancement, in mode of economy. So we have spoiled actually our economy because pollution exists. Ecosystem is endangered. So in fact, we have lost. We have lost pure air. We have lost pure life. Everything is expensive. So where did we gain? Nothing. So that is where quality failed. In fact, if quality has resulted in this pollution, where is quality? Overall, it failed. We have to consider. Now they are thinking, oh no, we have to increase life. They are enacting laws. Europe has enacted law. We have to increase life up to 10 years or 15 years. So, okay, repair is a must. Don't produce material thrown in 2 years. So it's a question. You're rising too late. Why did you forget to think of this when it was 20 years back, 30, 40 years back? When I was young, too young, I was 67 at the time I was young, repair was important, watches were repaired, every item was repaired, and people say, oh, you are poor, you're getting repaired, buy new one. Why buy new one? It's not my material, I did not produce this material, and it's produced by none. No citizen in world is capable to produce some material without without support of nature. If nature does not support, we cannot even have a particle of water. We cannot have particle of air. We can't breathe. We can't respire. We can't drink water. We have to keep this in mind. We won't have any primary element with us. It's God, it's nature that equips us with every life point. This point we are unable to understand. That air I can't make, water I can't make, soil I can't make. What can I make? Break all this, right? Rather than making, we break it. We use all resources from earth, lithosphere. We use quality inbuilt by nature. That quality inbuilt by nature, we rely upon that, and life moves on that. Then we don't for what? That's where my concern lies in. And that's why it's not only these topics which I have written, it's in every topic. It's written only for my own sake, so that I can concentrate on this and you can also concentrate, because these cover generally entire life. When I say life, engineering covers most of your life activities, and quality is a part of engineering, particular part of engineering, because in engineering we speak of quality, otherwise we generally don't speak of quality. And AnnexSL is there because of international standardizations. Then we can say designs, everything is design which you think of to do something, and construction has pure relations to designs and quality. And for supporting of which you can say methods are required to be extracted, to be explained in organizations, and that is means a kind of communication coordination. So I think there is a sequence, there is a chain of these topics that are involved in our works. And I refer to AnnexSL. In leadership state, leadership, I can define that everybody is a leader, and first responsibility goes to myself. When I work on projects or in designs, I am leader one for my work. I have to question myself, I have to answer myself, I have to deliberate myself. It's like self-teaching, self-learning. Self-learning is very important. University cannot teach you everything. Professor cannot teach you everything, because professor also has limited knowledge, and we have no knowledge at all. We have to learn from professors. But professors are defined well what they know. They can't go beyond that. But life is best teacher. Particularly in profession and in engineering, life is best teacher. And life is best teacher for everybody, because nature is teacher, nature is professor. There is no professor superior to nature, and engineering is a part of nature, and nature is a part of engineering. Without nature, engineering cannot exist, and without engineering, we cannot exist. Today, situation is that, because we are not living in woods, we are not living in forests, we are living in society, in civil life, in cities, in villages, that has merits as well as demerits, both. When I say leadership, I say my own responsibility. I don't want to blame others for my leadership. Maybe others do not help me even then. I don't have capacity that I can pull their help. I can extract them to my help. That is my weakness. But weakness or no weakness, I can't expect everybody to think as I think. No, I can't expect that. Maybe I expect you think better than what I think. Or if I am not able to have support from them, in that case I have to teach them also. And that teaching is not direct, that's indirect teaching. Okay, don't worry, I take care myself, and you keep on watching me. And it happens. It happens that if you work continuously without any interference from others, or they may observe you, but either there are two answers. One is that those people shall become enemies to me, or those shall be later on jealous or impacted upon. This person does not care for us. I'm just trying to see what happens. If you want to teach them, you do yourself. Either they shall learn or they shall go away, because they will consider they are not required. But it's very difficult. Concentration is very difficult, focusing is very difficult. But if what engineer has no choice, engineer has no choice, because engineer has a responsibility. You have to design, you have to work on sites. There is no way out. You have to teach everybody, you have to force them if they are not happy voluntarily to work. And that force doesn't mean you apply physical force, but mental force. I have seen by experience, if they don't listen, don't worry about them, because everybody wants to measure, wants to ensure what other does. If I am a leader, first of all, they oppose me, probably if they don't like me. Why this person has become leader? I am not leader. Somebody doesn't have capacity but aspires to be leader, while somebody has capacity and that person has to work. I say it's work that leads. It's not person, it's not face. If you work, people know you are working. Work may give success little late, but that success is solid one, concrete one. That success is not superficial. That success can be viewed and measured. It's like that if sun rises, everybody sees sun, and sun doesn't rise, people won't see darkness. Same thing here, if you work, your light shall illumine and people would look at you, at your work, and somebody shall feel happy while others unhappy, because for them your working is bad because they don't work in your place. Well, what I say is it's different kind of leadership I'm talking. In engineering, because you have responsibility, you have to spend money on workers, on resources and materials and make machines and every you can say requirement. We cannot run away from that. And we have to depend on all these resources, and without that, no way we can move. There will be so many responsible persons in certain work or in major companies, organizations, and all division partners are heads and leaders to their respective sections, such as designs, estimation, planning, purchasing, safety, quality, site controls, engineering services, contract valuations and approvals. Policy devised by top leadership is that site work should be done right first time, every time. That is the general policy in organization or in management. Time. Avoiding reworks to a maximum extent possible. And this has big meaning. We have to work first time, every time, and that's the right. First time, right, every time. Right means what? Here, everything is right, but whatever you to do, it should be right according to requirements. That's relation. It should be right according to its requirement, according to its intention of use. Whatever is indicated, whatever is mandated in specifications, we call specification means something written for something written for objective. You have to achieve this for that particular act. And if you are able to achieve that, we can say this work that I have done or has been done complies to requirement, is in conformance to requirement. So that we can call right every time. If I do super to that, well, I think it's better. You can say you have added value to this. It is done better than its requirement. So what say? Do everything right first time and do everything right first time every time, so that you don't have to do it again after removing it and then doing or correcting it, which is also cost consuming, time consuming. and reputation loss. If you do work every time again and again, this means first of all you will not be trusted and you may be shunted out of that organization, you may be removed. This means if I have to do first time every time, I have to learn that. I have to be sure of doing it. And that's it, what you say, your practice, your experience counts. You should know every aspect of that work which you are going to do. Only then you can say, I can do, I can understand, I have got complete clarification, complete concept, how I have to perform this work. And it's good if you understand that. Then maybe first time you have some difficulty, but second time, third time, when you go on doing that, you will enjoy it. You will learn it more and more on that. Maybe you can say, I have done so many times and now it's in my complete control. Every time you will improve it, provided you are not careless, provided you don't sleep, provided you don't ignore. Again I say concentration and attention, continuous attention, continuous focus is called concentration on some point, and it should not be missed. Just like I am a good driver, I drive car very good, I can concentrate on road, I move fast, and say I have long experience, but by chance, even there is no rush, I think of something else while driving, can make accident, can meet accident. It doesn't mean that I don't driving, I leave driving, but because of my ignorance during that time, accident has happened. So that's what I say. Focus is very important. Leadership means focus on many points. It is not necessary you have to focus on only one point. If you are intelligent, if you have brain capacity, if you can think, you can concentrate simultaneously on many points, depending on what points are and what requirements are and what problems are. Or you can do in sequence, because ultimate requirement you cannot keep hold for long. If some problem exists, you have to think on that, analyze that, find solution and solve it. That's it. Apply that. Generally we call it, as I said, plan, do, check and improve. You have to plan, you have to do, you have to check, you have to improve. These 4 simple steps. And that's what leadership is. You plan yourself. Don't ask anybody. Yes, if you have colleagues, you can ask them. If you have someone, you can ask them. There's no problem on that. You can ask everybody. And once you do it, means you have to plan, you have solid plan. Of course, you have to think behind that. You think behind that, you check that, you analyze that, and then you do it. And of course, you do it better than before, because you have done your activity, pre-work activity, by planning, then doing, and of course, there may be some errors. Check it or audit it and review it. Every time after doing something, you check it. If there is some error, it can be set right. And of course, when work is done, you have to check it, you checked it, you will find some problems. And once you find those problems, you can solve those problems. There is no problem in that. Problems are solved and you can say improve them. Every step shall teach us some lesson. So it can be called lessons learned. So we can say that policy devised by those heads, those leaders, it says site should be done correctly. Other point is that when you work with people or they work with you, you know them very well. Maybe immediately somebody joins, CV tells something, this what person can do if CV is correct, not fraud, not fabricated. You can talk to person, you can know capacity of the person. If it's only talk capacity or real capacity, that you can recognize by interaction. And then person works and you know gradually in some time what is depth of that person, what is potential of that person. And if that person suits you, it's fine. So we can say site work should be allotted to right competent person only. If right person is not available for certain specific job, you train someone. It's not big deal. If person is well educated, trained, experienced, to know something additional is not a question mark. When you can you can get degrees and degrees and degrees, this only work. So train one, either training should be given to personnel involved or work should be outsourced officially in form of subcontracts. No other way. We have solutions to problems. We have solutions to problems, and we say work should be affected, errors or defects free in scheduled time with required degree of competency and acceptable compliance. Required attempt has to be made to do all works error or defects free, and that is what approach should be. If I work, maybe it takes little time, but I should think what I have to do as a part of detailed planning, which can't be even indicated on schedules, on charts or bar charts. Gnatsel means wherever you can only mark activities, you can mark details. Where are those details which you have to follow, that you have to think of? Means not as an individual but as a group. You can't work as an individual. You are not in commissioning stage. You are not in test pre-commissioning stage. You are in construction stage where single person cannot work. A group is required, and that's a must. So when you are in a group, you are leader of that group or that project. You have every responsibility to make sure that your required information, which is not known to everybody on that project, you know it maybe, or somebody else knows it as a specialist. That information should be disseminated to everybody in certain form, in verbatim form or in written form. That information must be with everybody. What is to be done, even up to artisanal levels and up to those who are available to work on site. Engineer has to write something for itself, for others, or has to explain to them if they cannot read and write. Such explanation has to come out from leaders. Leaders is number one, to conceive, to think, to analyze, to reach certain decision and express that one in terms of some statement, work statement you can say, or work method statement you can say, or whatever is that. Title doesn't matter. What I written, communication and coordination. Communication is required, and communication moves from top, responsible top, because top knows explicitly better than everybody else what is to be done. It may be called manager, it may be called organizer, it may be called leader, or whatever title you give, and it's whatever is expressed there in terms of what we have to do on sites or others. We have to communicate that one to responsible person on site, and it's generally called site engineer or site manager or whatever it is. That person has a responsibility to make sure that activity expressed on that paper or that communique goes to site responsible frontline leaders. Those could be called site engineer, could be called site foreman, could be called site supervisor, or you can name whatever you wish, so that they can instruct their crew. Continuous instruction, continuous surveillance, continuous supervision, stages are maintained, and that information reaches everybody. And it is done. And from remote, that leader can make sure or can view what's happening, because explanation is important and engineers understand, foremen understand, and they have to do it. No way they can't say no, or they have to express what is better than that. And if experience-based explanation is better and acceptable to everybody, then modification can be done on method also. No harm, because interest of work says we have to think of work in whatever better manner, better than best it can be done. So it's a question of time. There's no question of ego in that. If it can save time, it can save money, it can lead to better quality system, better quality. It can improve system. Works are expensive, works are time consuming, works involve huge material, quantity, resources, machine resources, workers resources, and you can say reputation on top of that. So we cannot ill-treat our intentions, because ultimately we are based on supports from our associates, our juniors, and every such personal involved in construction, in engineering, supports leaders. But leaders also have to support them. It's mutual. You get support from them because they work. And if they don't work, then you can't do anything. You have to realize this fact. Though they may not be highly educated, they have experience, frontline experience better than leaders have. And if leaders move through steps from top to bottom, bottom to top, of course then those leaders are well experienced. I respect those leaders who have come through experience, through learning, and not imposed on. That's very important, because it is construction. You find different classes of people in construction. What it says that organization has devised various levels of positions, such as top level, middle level, seniors, and detailed levels, can say. Our objective is work should be done. Number one, work should be done. And work should be done, it is seen to be done defect free, error free. And that's possible only when there is no confusion. We don't have any confusion, we don't have any misrepresentation, and it should be made clear whatever is going to be done is according to expressions given and instructions given. I've seen people, particularly those who, just to make trust, repeat instructions. Sometimes I did not feel that good, but if you see, communication is a big part that plays a big role, considerable role in organizations. And this communication can mislead also sometimes, because of person who communicates, what character that person has or what level of understanding that person has. Sometimes verbatim to verbatim causes problem. You understand what I mean? If I say something to someone, that someone says something to other one, and other one again says something, means one wants to pass information to A to B, B to C, C to D. But what happens? A to D, B and C miscommunicate, and D is affected, misinformed. That can lead to errors. So it is better, though every point cannot be given in writing, but at least important points for processes, for construction mechanism, for activities, it's better to use writing. And that writing that can be understood by everyone, not very editorial writing or a simple writing in simple way. Clarity of activities, clarity of requirements. There is no question of producing compound statements, and nobody can understand, because it is work that we are talking. It's not language we are talking. It's not literally language. It's communicative language, and we have to see to whom we are going to communicate. That statement is approved one, and that has been approved by engineer, by managers, and this is to be followed by site people. So it should have, you can say, an effect that everybody can understand. That if you do, it's fine. It's technical work. Activities are involved, resources are involved, methods are involved. Doesn't matter how good or bad these are in English or in other language. So they say that they require to provide vision to site organization. This is what leaders do. It is the job of leaders. It says top leaders, contributors call them, are themselves to direct self and guide all others, located on site or on off-site. Who has to do that? Point remains, it is job of leader to lead others. Leader means you have a vision, not initial vision, but vision how to do this project, how to handle every work. That vision is very important, practical vision you can say. It's not now imaginary, because design is based on imagination, construction is based on vision, which is practical. You can have 10 methods for one work. Means everybody has different approach, but focus is result. There is no conflict if two persons have different way of doing one item. There can be 3 ways also, but sit down and see which is best one. And sometimes leaders too get knowledge from their subordinates because of subordinates' experience. Vision means you have to make sure that what is required is cost control, time control, quality control. These are prime controls. Time on contract is very important. You can't violate it. Should not. Time is important. That is time of contract. Then there is a time of machines. How to use machines. Every minute of machine is expensive. Big machines, equipment are expensive, or higher charges are expensive. Even if you own them in big companies, these two are expensive because work should be done. These should not remain idle. You have spent money on machine has certain life. You can't waste that life. Then you have employed some operator also who is senior operator. That also costs. If that operator sits idle, means you are going to lose. Then material, which you have to take care of, because you can't waste material as well. And of course quality means whatever you do should be suitable, should be fit, should be acceptable, should be industrial practice. So what is said here is vision. This is vision. We have to control these. Whatever resources are there, these must be controlled optimally. That's what I say vision is. That's what the force is. It's not very long vision. It is vision because physically every resource is available. Machines are available, resources of workers are available, drawings are available, methods are available. You have every point, every requirement available. How to use that is important. How to assemble all these in required way according to designs. Assemble I'm using just to explain, otherwise there is no assembly as such. It is work execution that we call it, or we call it prosecution of work. So what do you say? They require to provide vision to site organization. And site organization means crew or workers. These are organizations. They require to keep all personnel, you can say they require to keep all personnel all times motivated, so that continuity of personnel and good practice. You can say they require to provide vision, and they require to keep all personnel all times motivated, so that continuity of personnel and good practice work is maintained on site with smooth motion of operations to achieve all milestones. And then we can further this, you can say leadership, what actually they have to do. Leaders need ensure, one leader has to ensure or required to ensure that policy of organization is effective, always effective. It's not only theoretical, it's not only assumed or dream, it should be effective, it should be worked upon, and that should be consistent. It should not be dramatic, it should be productive. It should work again and again, not one time or second time phase, third time phase or fourth time, no. It should be uniformly applicable in its approach. It should be consistent in its application, in its structure. It should have objectives. Achieve whatever you like. Means whatever you are demanded, the objectives are achieved in all cases. So leaders require ensure, or these are no need ensure that policy of organization is always effective and consistently its objectives are achieved in all cases. They need not involve directly with details, but involve with by surveillance of all works of execution or prosecution, and wherever and whenever they you have to coordinate with everybody. This means practically you have to coordinate with everybody. You have to communicate with them with whatever means. You have to keep watch on them. No mistakes occur. And it may be direct coordination, direct communication, or indirect communication. We have to take care of that. What I say, contractors people, subcontractor people, what you have to see here, all resources, requirements in line to contact and project schedule. That's the important point. Mobilization of all resources in line to contact and project schedule. It should be ensured. It should be ensured that all contractors personnel, all contractors personnel at all levels know about respective job activities. Very important point. It is to be made sure that descriptive writing and be updated from time to time depending on newer projects or due to added responsibilities. This is a kind of continuous training of workers, training of employees. or not to that mark, but impression is important. Information is important. Some ideas may be better, or listen to them, and if you can explain to them what is not possible, or what may cost more, or what may cost more time consumption. After all, your leader. Just listening to them is a job, not just writing alone. Writing is a, you can say, module. It's a module where you have collected certain points and give them, explaining to them what to do, when to do, how to do. What to do, when to do, how to do. Again, it comes same way. You planned your procedure, you have written. Who has to do it? First you have to do it. You have to instruct them. Then they have to do it. So plan has been done. Doing is going on. They do it. They may do it successfully or may not do it successfully. This depends. If they do it successfully, fine. Then you can say, fine, I have done right and we are going to improve. We are going to improve this. Or there may be some error revealed when they work. So that point should be taken care of, and we have to apply improvement. And that's why it says plan, do, check and improve. It's not that only it was in designs or in higher position. It is to be concerned everywhere. And when you teach them, okay, that activity we missed it, so we have to do it this way, not that way, though it was also right, it was done, but a little better than that. We are going to do results we are responsible for. It doesn't matter that in construction we have to be strictly at one point. Construction facilitates us that you can think over for better activities, for better mode, and that's where we are benefited. Because there can be many ways to do one item, and which is best way we, by virtue of time lapse, we can know there I did like this, we did like this, or here also we do like this because circumstances are similar. But not to do an innovation on that. So leaders have to, in all cases, all time, ensure that device management system is well monitored. And that's another point, monitoring of system. Monitoring of system can be done only when system is available. And monitoring can be done only when system works perfectly. And that system works perfectly means we have to try first time, second time, third time, fourth time. And we have to make sure what were problems each time. This requires a close study. It cannot be done 1 minute, I know. It cannot be done 1 day, that's also true. It's time related, and that's why it doesn't make any harm. It doesn't give any harm. Sometimes it takes months to understand a system and to know what should be done, what should apply for this. Okay, we are swayed. So we modify something. We don't change system, but we change our ways which are permissible, because every statement cannot be defined, every way cannot be defined one statement, but alternative approaches are always available. So even if we miss something in some statement in writing, or we something misdirected, that shall be picked up on site when you work. In manufacturing, it's of course won't work because manufacturing is different, it's automatic, but on site works. Even though it's industrialized world, machines are available, errors of works are possible. So when such errors which are amendable, which are controllable, which are containable, that should be written then, and we have to adopt different approach. Because of this we got to this line of stop. So it's leaders have to all cases, leaders have in all cases, all time, ensure that device management system is well monitored. And that's monitored means not only this way, We can't blame someone on this. It happens. Requirement is requirement, and we have to review, evaluate, and if required, necessary improvement is inducted as and when it is necessary, required. Singles again 0, 0. I don't know how far can we move further. About 50 minutes to this video. Now that's what I say, plan, do, check and improve. So it says, after review and evaluation, what deficiency exists, we have to correct that deficiency. What deficiency we could not expect, or it happened due to lack of our expertise or skills among people, that deficiency is revealed, and that deficiency is to be corrected if it's practically possible, and that should be done. So that's called improvement to contain defects, improvement to contain deficiencies in activity, and that is done. Improvement is done, is conducted, inducted as and when it is demanded by results of consequences rather. Now, what's required? Make sure that all necessary information regarding system organization is communicated to all personnel as and when it is necessary, and such communication is essential. We cannot say this person is having this designation, this person has just to listen with what supervisor says. We should not forget that those persons are having also certain respect and experience. Maybe what we think ourselves, they do not think. Maybe they think better than what we think, or maybe they are not clear, or we are not clear. So we can say whatever information we have, how to do this work. We should have communication mechanism, and this communication can be explained to those people, those personnel who are directly involved, and they would understand that not through papers but through explanations. And maybe they suggest something which maybe they would be hesitant, but they, in presence of foremen or others who are directly responsible for execution, they can have better interaction, and that's important. They do it, and if we think that that idea is not bad, and they are more interested in that idea than our idea, we can allow them, no problem. As far as it doesn't affect results, we can allow. And later, if that idea is good, it's worthy, we can include that as general statement on other methods, or we can review same method. We have to make sure, it's also a leadership job, that all clients or respective owners are well aware that organization has been complying with NEVA requirements, which are duly updated, so that it may be easier to participate in more bids or new bids to manage building works or other works. Owners are also leaders. They are leaders in commercial work, they are leaders in business promotion, and they are, you can say, ready to face financial complications, financial roles, financial responsibilities. Every leader who is practically qualified, technically qualified, can explain to owner if owner has certain requirements. I can't say owners don't know. They know their way. They keep finance absolutely in their mind. So leaders need ensure that all clients or respective owners are well aware that organization has been complying with requirements, NEVA requirements, and duly updated accordingly. so that it be easier to participate in newer bids to manage building works. We have to keep in mind future also. Whatever work we have got, this contract, we may get more contract, and to get more contract you have to update your skill as organizer, as leader, and skill of your others, subordinates or other colleagues, and also skill of entire team who work with you, who support you. Leaders need to ensure that all clients or prospective owners are well aware that organization has been complying with newer requirements and duly updated, so that it is easier you can say, to participate in newer bids to manage building works. Construction management requires to conduct scheduled audit on contract progress to an extent contractor site organization is concerned. Construction can say schedule audit is very in different ways, frequent or at distance, but construction is raised in form of valuation statement by contractor in process when due and after its evaluation and scrutiny by engineer approved payment certificate. Payment is important, every part is important, no one can deny this fact. Valuation, we call it, or in some easy language, people call it stopped, is interrupted. So that is of course an essential requirement, and this is what both parties must take care of. Valuation must be prepared in time by contractor and must be careful. This construction organization ensures that monthly or scheduled payment must be prepared on statement whenever it is due and after its evaluation and scrutiny by engineer, approved payment certificate are received from owner engineer. So there's, you can say, kind of one was, you have to conduct audit. Audit can also be conducted by owner's representative if it is essential, where the contractor is working according to requirements. It can be conducted work has been done out of this. This was planned percentages and this is percentage achieved on site. There should not much difference, but even if there's difference, payment is payment. We are behind, but we have worked. You may stop, you may hold some money, but work should be paid. That is also important, and for that, every leader should be ready. That's what again I say, construction organization ensures that monthly or schedule level payment is raised in form of valuation statement by contractor in process when due and after its valuation and scrutiny by engineer approved payment system, payment certificate which are received from owner and engineer. There are certain requirements. Now construction organization makes sure to submit all reports to its leaders in its corporate or head office whenever due, so that real achievement and status of contract remains known to them and information circulated to designated key personnel. This is a requirement question of our internal arrangements. Every leader has to deal with its own organization, and organization should know through that leader where do we stand on this project, where we fail or where we are moving successfully on this project. Those points are very significant to be known by everybody in corporate or in your company or contracting organization. It's their right to know, because through you they know, not through someone else. If you are agent of the site or project or project leader, you have to work and report to them. This is your original report because it's your organization, and you have to report to engineer, you have to system. Yet everything cannot be understood by online. Activity coordinations are very important even in this fast world. And of course you have to know what are problems on site. Is going to cause a resources problem, or project is being problematic due to resources, or resources means you have to purchase material. How does it work? Where efficiency is falling, where there is a problem, delivery problem, what about shortage of required people? All these points must be kept in view, and that's where it works. Really, sometimes it's interesting, sometimes it's boring, sometimes it is regretful, and sometimes you feel as if nothing is happening. It happens. Sometimes you feel, oh, it's gone beyond my control. But it is construction. So many obstructions, so many speed breakers would be there, so many signals, red light would be there, and so many, of course, green lights would be there, don't worry. Sometimes you are in ember stage, but passivism and activism both do exist on such projects. We should not mind all that. It's therefore very important to get into this complication arrangement. We'll come to point of planning immediately. Meanwhile, we have to think of all these points, because without such points you cannot do anything. Planning is very important point, and I'll be back in a couple of minutes. Or hold on for that time. I'll be back. I'm back. Sorry, I was little busy, so I'm back now. I was talking about planning and leadership. I had talked a lot on leadership. Not a lot, I mean to say, in a communicative pattern. What do I understand by that? I say all such significant projects status reporting requires to be moved further upwards all stakeholders included on project charter. And this is also very important part that we have to consider. It's not simply that we have to explain to our owner or our company. We have also to involve all stakeholders, and this must go to project charter. I explained to you about charter before. It's not professional charter, but it is work charter. It is job charter that company maintains and everyone maintains. Contractor maintains his charter. Owner maintains its own charter through engineer or its own people, whereas every stakeholder should know what is the status of project. Is it worth to continue? Means you can't discontinue, but consideration is how much best we can do, how much better we can do. So information must reach through management to all stakeholders. I'm not saying that site person has to provide that information. Site person has to brief, to provide copies that are given to engineers, but also a brief directly to every management, and that management can transmit to charter and through that to all stakeholders involved. It's kind of continuous communication, you can say, continuous communication, and it's also a part of general coordination, that what is status is known to everyone. Now we have talked about leadership. Again, I would say leadership is something that is very, very responsible. You cannot just call leaders without being real leaders. Real leaders are those who talk of we achieved this, who never say we could not achieve or we always fail because this is a problem and that is a problem. Why problems when you are a leader? Yes, something is impossible to achieve, that is different. But these problems are professional problems. These problems are not extraordinary ones. Being experienced in this profession, you know what are solutions. Nobody else knows better than you know because you are leader. You have led life. Leader means you have already led in life all these issues. These are nothing new for you. You are a leader. Leader means you have knowledge, you have experience, you are theoretical and practical, you are visionary, you have every you can say benefit of knowledge, you have every clue with you. You are a kind of master for this project to handle it. So you should have used your knowledge to see if some risks exist, some risks appear, what are solutions to those risks as we consider in safety. Risk factors we consider job hazard analysis, that too are applicable here, because hazard can also stop progress, hamper it. That point we have to consider in this also. Its quality doesn't mean that is also a part of quality, that our resources stay safe, our workers stay safe, our machines remain functioning all time, efficient all time. So we should not base on certain useless complaints, futile complaints. This is problem and that is problem. That's why we could not get. This means you did not do your job perfectly. A leader has no right to complain back. If something is not going to work, there is some lapse, there is some fault, and that fault should be pinpointed and solved. Ability of leaders measured in terms of what level of efficiency one got in terms of solving problems. If one is not able to solve problems, this means that person is not capable. Okay, there can be different problems, suppose 1% or 5% problems are there which are beyond your controls, that we agree. But those problems which you are expert of, you are considered expert of, and if you are unable to solve them, or even you could not even consult somebody else, which could be affected, problem is to be solved, that is requirement. It should not adversely impact movement of work. Work should move, and if work does not move, you sit idle, you sit sleeping, you're not serious. As I always say, quality of individual. This is where quality of an individual counts. It's not simply sitting in chair, it is responsibility, it is accountability. One should be very serious when you own the responsibility of project. It's really, I don't understand how people can sleep if problems exist. How do they sleep? I do not know. I can't sleep if there is even a single problem that I have to respond to. I can't sleep until I resolve that, or I try to resolve that. It comes to my bed, it comes to my mind, and of course I can't say that I am sick of sleeping or no. But concentration should be there. Should you be concentrating on that problem, certainly you will find solutions. Overconfidence does not work, and also over enthusiasm does not work. You have to consult yourself. Maybe something is hidden in documents which you missed to see, or something is hidden in contract, or something is hidden somewhere which you overlooked. That should be charted out properly. I don't think that problems do not exist. Problems exist. And I also don't think that solutions are not available. Solutions are available. We should see people, think of them, work on them. When you use this terminology leader, this does not mean follower. First point is that you have to follow yourself. That's what I say. You have to lead yourself. Therefore, I can say it is leadership that is number one responsible, either for failure of project or for success of project. Even to deliver project or not to deliver project, one has to question itself why there is delay. I cannot say delay comes in one day. A project may be 2 years long, 3 years long, and there will be many changes on that project. I have experience of one project that had about, I think, 3 years of its going on that. 2 years or 3 years, I think 2 years. The structure of that hospital building was complete. Finish it had been ongoing. And I just worked there for certain months, 6 months you can say. And I discovered that 75 engineers had shifted. That project was handled till then by 75 engineers, including managers, and it was in very bad state. Very bad state. Structural problems, issues, problems. I think this is a multitude of everything. But honor was not serious. Honor means contracting honor. Contractor was not serious. I've seen such projects also where everything was fine. There was no delay. Quality was good, and organization was good. And I saw there itself different kind of, when it was conducted every week, a meeting, contract progress meeting or progress review meeting was conducted. That consultants or honors manager once many times said in meetings, why we are sitting, Suraj, here? Why? It's boring. First, sometimes you say 2 weeks ahead, sometimes you say 3 weeks ahead. If you are here, we are here. Why are we here then? Why are we wasting time? This was just a joking question, though it was mandatory to sit weekly on that project. Sometimes weekly, sometimes quarterly, but generally weekly, commonly. This depends on conditions, on contract. When I was too young, we used to sit once a month to discuss progress. It may be progress meeting, contract review meeting, and that depends on frequency of work, speed of work. If it is necessary, it can be conducted weekly, and if it is not necessary, it can be conducted fortnightly or monthly. It depends. It's sometime in very bad shape, your progress, sometime it's good shape. Both situations work together. So I can mix up all this in further discussions, and now we go to, because what we have to say, we have to achieve this. Quality, safety, these are very important. You cannot say the quality is not required. Quality is required. That point cannot be abused. Now what we discussed in here, I'll now overlap everything. It says that actions in planning includes actions to address risks and opportunities, and organizing system or management system, objectives and planning to achieve these objectives. And what point of considerations are being risk-based thinking to front, bring, not being, it's by mistake here, I'll correct it, bring risk-based thinking to front. Once organization pinpoints risks and opportunities, it has to work out how to resolve, address through planning. So planning is very different at different stages. Planning means, it doesn't mean that you should specialist planner for that, though companies keep them for work overload. But planning is total analysis of project. It cannot be done otherwise. Say you are given a project. Maybe you are not a planning engineer, by specifications you are not, but doesn't matter. Planning engineer is not a separate education. It's engineering itself. You have to know everything about that project. If it is design, You have to plan design also. Means you are given a project to design. You have to plan that. You have to think on what you have to do. And that you have to chart out in how many months it will be over. In same way, it is planning of execution or planning of contract prosecution or contract work, construction work. Particularly construction work, because it's long duration work. It's not simply machine parts production which are automated, and there's much you can say requirement to plan something because it's all done. But in construction world, in engineering construction world, planning has a lot role to play, but that depends on contract data, what is duration of project, what is quantum of project, all items, different disciplines, market position, production position, financial status, financial support, and priority of project. Means, is it going to be worth to consider it very rigid or to consider it flexible? You think this quantum of time given or contract duration given is worth? Can this work be done in this period, keeping at least 10 hours a day or 12 hours a day working, or maybe you have to work in shifts round clock? So many issues come into play when we consider planning. It's not simply a game of you draw a bar chart and Gantt chart or critical path method or program evaluation review technique. You cannot simply go and jump on that. I've seen some people, they start drawing MS project based or Primavera based bar chart and think that's planning. I don't think that is planning. That is drawing only. You have to first understand what you have to do. That is important. We have to make sure by understanding total project. Means we have to go through, because this is lump sum project. Even if it is not lump sum project, quantities even then counts. Quantities of major items and those items which are in sequence, particularly which items work in sequence only, not in parallel, and quantity of work, time given by contract designer. We have to see relation of both. What is relation? What is quantum of concrete? What is quantum of excavation? What type of area it is? Maybe it is rock area. Means we have to go through all documents which we call contract documents. First, that person who decided for this period, that person should have gone through. Or maybe that person did not care. Now care is required. At bid time itself it's required. Bid time by contractor, because engineer may not be that serious to make sure that this time. So leave to contractor, let contractor tell me. Some people think like that. Okay, let bidder point out this. If bidders are ready to do this in this time, why should I unnecessarily take headache? That can be a question. Headache. I have a different idea. I know there are provisions in contracts for extension of time on contract duration, but those are not rightful, those are not privileged. If work can be done in right time, in given time, why to think of that? We cannot take that as a measurement tool or as a problem solver tool if we delay job. First of all, why should we delay job? That is first question. What benefit shall we get? I have seen some people, some companies, they think of extensions based on some undue elements like extra work we have to do, or keep more work coming and we claim extension on that. Some people are there who are, of course, having vested interest of having employment. They say if this project is over, maybe we don't have employment continuation. If such illicit thoughts come, employment continuation is different matter, but projects must be constructed in time. That's one matter, first matter. If I can't deliver that as a contractor, then I should say I have no efficiency. I fault somewhere. Rather, I should think how can I do better before time. That's most important. But everybody has different thinking, different contemplation. I can't answer that question. Time is not deciding factor. Can we see some more problems on that? All those factors will decide. Maybe some materials which are difficult to procure have been included in list. We have to take care of that also. It's not simply that we think of one point and decide. No, we can't. We have to take care of every element, and for that we need some time. Every bidder, coordinator or manager who deals with that work has to consider all these responsibilities. A thorough analysis of documents should be done, of course, in least time. At least analysis at first stage. You can say there can be many stages of analysis. We can say prime analysis of first stage should be conducted, at least for these items, quantities, time, and issues on materials. At least this can be conducted. Means, is there something that we can't do, or we may have face problems? These should be done immediately when you receive your documents. Rather, I should say, at time of fixing charter, it should be a part of charter that we had noticed this problem to come into this project life. That is very important point. On typical project, you can have, just by seeing time allowed and quantities, you can have an assessment how much time is required. For example, we can take RCC component, RCC element, because on major buildings, where buildings are dominating item, or where concrete RCC is dominating element on project, by knowing quantity of RCC, we can reach some conclusion that what shall be quantity of formwork, what shall be quantity of steel, for this a whole project. So there are 24 months, for example, or 36 months. We can say, okay, we need 60% time of 24 months, of 14 or 15 months, or 36, we can say about 15, 60, whatever months we can say, 36 or 60%, 24 months or 25 months. Can we handle this project structure? If we can't handle that element safely or comfortably or efficiently within that period, keeping in view site area, keep in view means how many people shall work at one place, is it enough place for them to work, or there will be additional place required for this construction, where lay down is not a big issue, where area required for workers, say there may be 5,000 workers, 3,000 workers on one side, and site is quite big. I don't think it will cause some problem. But if site is squeezed in area, then you cannot say we'll keep 500 persons at one floor. That may not work. All these points, and maybe it is 20-story building. So maybe it is fast track, but it is factory oriented, means you need precast slabs. Only some elements of structure you have to do on site. Means you have to clear understanding of how you can proceed on this project, which shall be of course leading to leader. It shall lead leader. That's what you have to understand. Documents analysis is very important. Every engineer has to do it. If you are not a fresh person, you are experienced one, and this is what experience says. Maybe sometimes there are so many volumes, 4 or 5 volumes of these documents or the soft copy. There's so many folders. One folder has 500 pages, and there are 4 folders, 2,000 pages. I have to go through this. It's impossible. No, it's not impossible. You need not go to all pages. At least in first analytical stage, you have to go to scope of work, and you go through BOQ if it's available, or some indication of a quantity is available, or you go through some drawings. Some drawings, key plan for example, and some more drawings. And of course, you can assess from your initial involvement per month. How can you plan them? Your planning is based on this feedback, your own feedback. Your foreman shall not give you this feedback. You have to extract this feedback by self-involvement, by self-initiation. And that's where, your capability counts. Where your CV claims you have to prove. Planning. And if you think it's not worth, and it will cause problems, and if you think no, it's okay, fine, then you handle it. There may be many contractual of some petroleum company we had to construct. Time was 1.5 years. Don't relax. Don't sit on, oh, time is 18 months, I sleep. He simply said in a joking style. Don't sleep on project. You shall have many complications on this. Keep in mind, start at once, think and do it. Well, I also took it very lightly, means it's joking, but when I entered into details, though it was awarded to us, nobody cared when it was tendered. I was not there at that time. Nobody pointed out, that's okay, just we offer this price and get this job because we have entered this department of government. People think that way, don't study, just go on price it and will not do that. First of all, there is a price problem. This price was about 20% lesser than actual price. Okay, that's not my headache. I do not tender this. I'm not responsible for that. But question is how to manage it. I still remember that senior officer, senior engineer of that company, government company, said to me there are a few points on this project to note it. In first meeting said, one is this chamber is to be relocated. There was a chamber, drainage chamber. This was required to be relocated. I say it's only relocation. What's the problem? No, you don't know. Go to the department and ask them. Department means a third party department, that is means electrical department, or it was some other department, I remember. The electrical chamber was then said it has to be relocated, and there are two more items. He warned me. Well, I was serious. And if he says something is a senior company engineer of government, he must have experienced that. I visited that department one day and applied for that, inquired what to do, and also what help was required from government. Letter was issued. I still remember that. It was 2000, I think it's 2003 or 4, I don't exactly remember. And well, whatever year it was, it doesn't matter. I think I had to go personally for that work. Small shifting of chamber from one location to another location, and I still remember I took personal interest in that because it was technical matter. I visited that office 50 times. 50 times. I did not stop. And then it was shifted. You think of that. But really it was a crazy result. Oh, you got it. I know how it was done. There were some other items too. So I realized that Sheikh engineer, that don't sleep. He was right. I learned a lesson that duration looks enormous. It looks, it's plenty of time. In 1 year, this work can be done in half time, but it doesn't know. Such complications do exist. on certain specific projects. And that's why we have to analyze whole work clearly. If we don't conduct So really, I got experience from there in this way, which I never anticipated. And not only myself, nobody in that organization anticipated that long time. There were some other problems too there. I left that site, I think within 1 year. I started that one. Still, work was not completed. Finishing items were ongoing. Structure was completed. This was, of course, not very big project, but very complicated one. It has many systems at that time, like FM200, like shelving. It was a record center, you can say, plant's record center, a place where soft records are stored, preserved. Well, I'm just giving an example. Till I was there, it was always 2 to 3 weeks ahead, and that British guy who was manager, senior manager, said, "It's complete boring your site," but he was happy with quality and product progress. I don't know what happened after that. It was completed, of course, but those people always tease me. Even our company manager used to tease me. "Oh, see, quality here, progress is very little." What progress when there is no quantity? What could I do? And on some other tower, there's someone else. Say, "Oh, their product is more and production is more, but quality is wrong." He himself used to say, "Quality is good there." I'm not saying that it's my achievement. Means I didn't do anything special on that. Requirement of specification was standard one. It was to mark. You had to abide by specifications, otherwise they won't accept that. It's department, it's government. If engineers are strong in government, they want to check everything. When on Fridays we solved, I used to see that, note that engineer used to secretly visit site to make sure whether curing of works, curing of computers is ongoing or it's not ongoing. So if supervisors like that, you can say, responsible people are to that they will strict. How can you avoid that? And curing, it doesn't mean that you cost a lot. You have to spend that cost. Only point is ignorance. Ignorance is important to be checked. We do not check that. Sometimes we are serious but ignorant. Sometimes people are not serious, our personnel are not serious. Sometimes foremen are not serious because, of course, they are tired. I can't blame them. But tired or not tired, curing cannot wait for your thinking, for your time to work. Curing is curing. Curing is such a treatment. There is no replacement for that. You can't say, okay, I missed curing, I do it now. It won't work. It is like food you have to take, or you cannot take food for 20 days in one day. Same way, food for one day cannot help you for 20 days. So, such treatment, such curing, we call it curing itself. Though it's very easy to say, oh, curing only. Only curing means it's very important item. If you miss that, you miss whole work. There is no replacement of curing. How can you replace it? There is no way out. You can say, okay, I did it, now it is gone. No, you can't. You have to take care of that. So, my dear friends, what I am trying to say, I know you all know it. It says in planning the actions to address risks and opportunities, organize and management system objectives, and planning to achieve those objectives. And there is bring risk-based thinking to front. Once organization pinpoints risks and opportunities, it has to work out, but how to resolve, how to address through planning. What, who, how, and when this risk be addressed, you have to know that. Time of that, what is that risk, who knows about this, how it can be solved. So we can question ourselves and we have to find answers to them, and when we get answers to them successfully, then risk goes away, it becomes normal. This approach replaces preventive actions. Means when you know everything about this, you have to reduce it. It is reduced and risk is reduced for corrective actions later, and we have to take preventive actions. Then may say objectives of management system, organization system should be measurable, communicated, aligned to organization management system policy, and updated as and when required. So you can say planning work starts in fact with when project chart. So we are talking here something not indifferent. It is same as we think, but intensity of that we are talking, intensity of how what seriousness level we do have, that we are talking. Intensity of seriousness level that we have and we should have, that we are talking. Level of degree of seriousness that person who deals with that is we are talking. This format is of course a format, but it's not necessary that we do not know that without this format. This format is just a kind of system, or you can say a type of sequence that we have to consider on contract. Same thing is here. Scope, normative references, or requirements of contracts, or all that, text of organization, leadership, quality, and now planning likewise means You have to follow this all on sites, on works. Even if you do design work, you have to follow this. You have to do you have to understand planning is not easy until you know project. If you do not know project, it's like your home. You say, I'm planning budget, I'm planning for this, I'm planning for that. You plan, you plan marriages, events, you plan some other item, you plan for your future, some house, some everywhere you have to apply this technique. You have to know what you have to do. That is important. We have to know what's going to be done. That is important. Otherwise, we can't do anything. We can't concentrate on anything. We can't move on anything. So it's a different world in a sense for a new person, but it's not different world for a person who has experienced. Communication and coordination are tools, changing tools, continuous tools. These tools are used by mind. These are operated by mind of that person who deals. It may be an engineer, a coordinator, a manager. I think every engineer is a coordinator, every engineer is a leader, every engineer is an organizer. So communication and coordination are tools that are used in every activities of life. But contents are different, applications are different, and in construction, these are very important tools. In designs, very important tools. These are very important in every activity, and these have no limits. How many letters should be written, how many meetings should be conducted. This can be planned, but not definitely, not certainly. What shall happen when we write something? We shall have to respond to that. Somebody writes to us, or we have to just talk in meeting. No point should be left. Communication has different structures and different wings, and that's a call, you can say, it creates organization also. Communication means it can do whatever you wish. Coordination means interactivities are to be understood. Means it doesn't mean somebody is superior or inferior. This means all activities are involved on project. It doesn't matter which activity is upper or lower. They should occur at required time. And even if one activity is missed, you can hold work. Automatically it is held up. Or you miss that activity means it shall cause problem in future. You cannot say, oh, electrical conduits have not been laid. What can I do? I cannot wait. I have to do this slab. Okay, pour it. Can you do that? Electrical conduits have not been inserted, or some are missed, and there's no someone to tell, and you know there's some problem, and you would have to coordinate with that person, that contract of electrical work, or your electrical a person, and you have to put in that pipe or that conduit. Even if you have to delay whole work for 2 hours, 3 hours, or say, and then inspect it also. So there's this way. Until all these activities are centered at one point, we cannot move forward, we cannot do anything. So it's kind of planning or lapses in planning. Planning cannot tell everything. You cannot say, no, this planning, I have to write every conduit here. No, you can't do that. Just electrical conduits or electrical first fix, you may say it. Electrical second fix, you may call it. Because we cannot take everything here. Only main points are considered. So coordination is that at every point, at every activity, you may have different coordinators also. Coordination is very top job. It's mental job. It's eyes concentration job. It's not simple talking. It is actionable job. For every sometimes issue is very small, but you have to refer to many documents. And sometimes only one document is enough for coordination. It depends. Sometimes you have to talk to many parties, and that's where we can say technical and coordination meetings are conducted for various services of a building. Technical and coordination meetings are conducted for different services, for one service as well, and we have to point out, we have to extract what problems are. Same way it is done for all items. There may be coordination among various contractors. There may be coordination among various companies as well. If there are so many contractors working on one, but we have to do it. It's not simply that we can say, no, we have done it and that's it. No, we have to understand that how to do it. That's very, very important point. Life is that. Life is that, and we have to understand that. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't happen. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. And when it fails, you have to know why did it fail, what was the reason behind failing. If it failed because it had to planning, communication related to planning, analysis of contact is related to planning. So many points are related to planning. Planning is very important. It's not that easy as we think it is. It is not curative. It is a mechanism. It is a liability. It has cheat ourselves, and that cheating is not good. It's not worth. We have to keep that point in mind. We have to understand that point very well. Only then we can get something. Otherwise, we suffer, and that suffering is not good for something else. I think it's good time that at least we could reach 2 hours on this video after a lapse of 3 videos unsuccessfully, and we have to continue this talk next time, because I don't think signals are falling. Signals very bad system today. It's sometimes zero, sometimes more. I feel always in tension in dealing with signals. Now, and I would say are taking interest, a good one, because issue is very serious. I thought only it will happen to our country, but people are serious. This means they want to learn. Good point, we can say nothing moves without involving seriously